Hello, everyone.
Jack here with Jill here.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to our
Welcome
call.
to June 22nd call.
Is today was it yesterday or today is the first day of summer? I don't remember. Feels like every day is summer. Hello, Kathleen. Awesome. People are here. What was the first day of summer? Was it today? I don't know.
I hope you guys can hear us. Brad says yes, we're actually loud enough this time.
Awesome. Good stuff.
So
Jack has some good stuff too.
Yeah, we're going to take some calls today, but there's a few things I really need to clear up for everybody on the call and for everybody who's going to watch it in the future, whether it's on landinvestors.com, Success Plan, or YouTube, whatever venue it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning a lot I'm getting a lot of feedback from the calls that I do, and I'm going to share it with everyone today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kick it off, though, with a question, Joe. Here we go.
First, Rick says, you both sound loud and clear. Just kidding. Sorry. Excuse me. All right. So, yeah, go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A for us here, and we'll dive in. I like, thank you. Yeah, I hear you, Callie. So, Callie added some notes in here for us that she reached out to Pioneer Title last week, and it's not cheap, Jack. So you can see for $20,000 cash, it's $1,200 roughly dollars.
Yeah. So first of all, you need to make sure it's the investor rate, and then drop our name on top of that and see how that goes.
Oh, maybe bump up my volume. Okay. Let me do this a little bit. This is better for you all. Cool. Normally I'm the loud one. That's funny. So.
Boy, that's for sure.
Thanks a lot.
That's true.
Thank you. She said she did name drop.
Wow,
man,
that's expensive.
Yeah, well, Jack, that's just like Kelly said, hurry up, title mind. So I'm gonna update sometime, probably early next week. I will be updating our dates for the upcoming launch things, because how did that happen, that timing? I'm apologizing. 1 second. Sorry. Our launch dates for our upcoming products we have some better dates for July. We're finishing up we're making cosmetic changes now on Parcel Fact. If you've noticed,
we're making some massive progress on delivering some of these tools. It doesn't look like it's you, but on the back end, it's the stuff that takes a long time. Most of it's done.
Exactly.
What's really left is cosmetic stuff.
Mm-hmm. And making everything perfect.
Right.
So I'll update all that stuff. So it'll be on Land Investor so you can see it. So cool. Oh, thanks, Gene. Yes. He said, I'm looking forward to July. Curious to know how the post office box function will work. If I understand correctly, your system will keep me from making runs to the post office
to pick up the mail. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, what will happen is for your business specific stuff, and this is not for your house, not for your personal mail, you'll get a physical mailbox in the state that you're in. We have a company that's got 50 locations, and the mail will get delivered there, opened and scanned and sent to you via email.
Mm-hmm. That'd be really funny. Exactly. Yeah. Hey, Gene, you got a birthday card here. Do you want us to scan this in and send it to you? Just kidding. That's good. Hi, Rick. Hello to you both. I did not see zip code data for the back text list. How do we know the specific area of the county to mail? I'm wondering why. Okay, so give me a little more information, Rick.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure I understand.
Exactly. You can do zip code. I can do zip code searches, but give me some more.
Yeah. So today, in general, what I really want to talk about are doing bigger deals. Mm-hmm. Several people are scheduling, and all day I've talked to people all day. Mm-hmm. Every half hour, I spoke with a new group of people that are in our group with varying comments and things like that. And the vast majority, what we discussed is, all right, I've done 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 deals. Where is this all going to go? I know how to do it. How do I take it to the next level? So what I did was I regurgitated. We have about 20 people in our group. 20 people or so in our group that make in excess of 6 digits a month. There's a few people who have cleared 7 digits a month. And I'll tell you the anatomy of the typical deal that they do. They buy a property for $40,000 or $50,000 that's worth $200,000 or $300,000, and they sell it they make $100,000 on the deal. Mm-hmm. So doing bigger deals, and I'll quote my friend Jill here. The bigger the airplane is to fly, the easier it is because it's got more electronics and more stuff, and people just pay more attention. It's the same thing with real estate deals. These larger deals, I'm not talking about multi-million-dollar sites for industrial complexes. I'm talking about a piece of property that we all look at. It's just more expensive. It's in a more expensive county. It's a little bit closer to town. There's more uses for it. It's got water. It's a very simple scenario. So we'll talk about it a little bit later, like on the half hour after we clear some of these questions out. But that's really what I want to go through is what the next level, let's say. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Cool. Thank you, Jack. Do you want me to go back to the questions?
Yeah,
Do you have more?
sure.
Okay. Thank you, Rick. I'm going to circle back around to Rick's and add. Okay. So for marketing, okay, you're talking about selling. I thought I needed to use a zip code when creating the mail merge. Don't worry about it. Got it. Okay. So we're just doing county. If it's marketing, if it's marketing to sell, that's one thing. If you're doing the mail merge and you're picking a county, doing all that stuff, circle back around. And if you want to get really technical, here's what I think you might be talking about. APN schemes.
Yeah.
That might be what you're thinking. You're remembering numbers.
I'm going to go through that again at 3:30. Mm-hmm. We're going to go through the Redfin exercise. We did it last week, but so many people reached out to me with questions. It really, Jill and I did a show that hasn't aired yet, specifically about Redfin and how it can, if you know how to use it, replace the APN scheme / index map that many people are having difficulty getting at the county. And it's not our group's fault. It's just I'm showing my age here. These young kids at the county that work there now, they've never heard of it before because of computers.
Kids at the county. Young kids at the county.
Young kids eating cake at the county.
Oh gosh, here we go with the cake again. I love it. Oh good, you're welcome.
Kids eat cake too.
I love it. Okay, I have someone asking about hiring for Jill Live. Well, you know what's funny about this? Let me share this with this group here. I'm not necessarily hiring for callers or people to answer phones at Jill Live. However, I am hiring for help, and I am looking for remote help.
Actively hiring.
So, and it's not land. Well, a lot of it is admin related and social media and stuff for us personally. I mean, our companies and these sites. So if anyone's here looking for some side gigs, I mean, especially if you've got, some marketing experience and you know how to solve your own problems. We'll get to that in a minute. Reach out to me. So I am looking for some help. So thanks for asking, actually. Appreciate that.
We're not looking for operators.
No.
If that's what you mean.
Yeah, that kind of thing I'm not. Jason said.
Jill's going to answer every single phone call for you personally.
Yes, it's all
24/7.
Exactly.
I'm going to go on vacation.
Everyone has here's my cell number. And right. Okay. Jason said for 50-50 deals where the money person is putting in 100% of the acquisition funds, that would mean our typical 2 times target price is still just a break even for the money person. Okay. When the acquisitions are priced correctly, is there a typical real world target that can be expected?
Well, here's how I see it. Ready? You buy a property for $40,000 and you sell it for $80,000. You take 20 and the money guy takes 20, and that's what you make. And who wins there? Everybody. Mm-hmm. And if the property's worth $120,000, so does the buyer. Those are the type of deals that Jill and I do. Mm-hmm. We don't give away 50% anymore. We give away closer to 10% on some of these larger deals. But when you're starting, you really want to get your feet wet with somebody that's good. Mm-hmm. That's the anatomy of the deal. If you guys want me to, let me know and I'll put it on a spreadsheet so you can see it on the screen. I know how plus Jill hates it. That's why I like to do it sometimes.
What? Why do I hate it?
Me and the spreadsheets.
Oh, no. It's all good. No, I like your spreadsheets. It's what's funny is your spreadsheets take 20 minutes and you're getting grossed, it's all good. Okay. So Callie said, you guys might get this on the micromailer topic, but I've been spending a lot of time on Redfin this week.
Good. It's going to tie perfectly.
Do you take days on market into consideration when thinking about an area to target? Smart.
Yes. Hey, here's a side note. Days on market. So a lot of real estate agents, and I agree with this tactic, they'll just put a property up there real cheap, and it's just a fictitious piece of property. Maybe they own it. Maybe their brother-in-law owns it. Maybe it's just a pile of malarkey just to get their name out there. And so we'll smoke those out here when we go through the Redfin exercise in a minute. You'll see days on market for 3,800 days. That's 10 years. Yeah. Property's been in the MLS for 10 years. Yeah. Well, it's clearly not for sale. It's just a joke.
Yeah, so Marilyn says that why I see 400 days on Zillow.
Yes, that is exactly. Well, 400 might be real. It's not uncommon to have incorrectly priced land of it for sale for a year.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't. After 10 years, that's not cool.
Right, exactly. Hello, Tim. Timmy asks, is there any material we can study to learn? Wow, we are all getting smarter here. Is there any material we can study to learn specifics about subdividing parcels? Check. It's good working on this. Some of our target counties are definitely not in the mood to coach a newbie out of towner calling with questions. LOL.
You're the evil yuppie.
You're right.
They used to call me the evil yuppie from Scottsdale and all throughout New Mexico. They each recorder would call each other and say, he's coming over to your county. Watch out. Mm-hmm. This is before the way the internet is.
Exactly. Jack, isn't that one of the things that you are working on?
Unless someone proves me wrong, and I would love to be wrong on this, there is no publication that I've looked for on the planet that explains how to subdivide land. Mm-hmm. There's textbooks about mineral rights up the waz. I mean, there's all kinds of obscure stuff. Books about land and perk tests and real estate and development. Mm-hmm. Nobody has written a book about subdividing, so that's on my list. Mm-hmm. As soon as we get these freaking websites launched,
exactly,
I get my life back.
All right, got that. David,
Timmy, you're on my number one on my list. I'm going to comp you on the book when it's done.
Yeah. David asked on the equity partner deals, how do you set up the equity on the deal on title? Does the money guy own it 100% or is it 50-50?
In the very beginning, when we have a new money guy, we let them own the whole thing. And that seems to give him a real serious sense of comfort. Mm-hmm. It's 100% of his money. It's 100% of his deal. And then you review, and then you get paid out of escrow. So in my example, here's my numbers in the example. I think 40,080. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you buy a property for $40,000. It's investor's money. He owns it, and then you get paid $20,000 on the sale out of escrow for consulting or whatever.
Right.
And he gets a $60,000 check. You get a 20, and he's going to show up on your front door, pounding on it, saying, "When can we do this? And how often can we do it? And can we do it every day? Can we do it every minute? Can we do, believe me, they're like little children.
Are we there yet? Money
people are like little children when it comes to this stuff. Are we there yet? Uh-huh. He's touching me.
Yeah.
Mom, he's touching me again.
Silly. He's poking me for more deals. Yep. What about terms on an equity partner deal? A follow-up.
That's a little more complicated. So some people like that. Luke's doing a bunch of those right now. Mm-hmm. So somebody will, the theory goes like this. I've got Luke as a panelist here. So Luke, if you're cool about talking about this stuff, I'll pipe you in. But the theory is you put 100,000, you know what? I'm going to pipe like it. Luke's going to answer this. I've done a bunch of way more cash deals than terms. Maybe you will. Maybe he's got the rooster going too. Hey, Luke.
Hey guys, am I live?
Hello, Luke.
Does the audio work?
Give him a minute.
It's fiction.
He's there.
I'm here. Is it coming through?
Helping a man with a turban.
Yeah, he's collecting money.
Exactly.
Can you?
Well, he'll pipe in.
Yeah.
Here, okay.
So anyway, on a term situation, the scenario goes more like this.
She can hear him. What? Come back.
Oh, wait, we can't. Hold on.
I think I'm on. Does that work?
Go ahead, Luke.
Okay. So maybe recap the question, like doing terms deals with partners or what? I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not. Mm-hmm. Maybe someone could say in the chat. It says they're saying
I'm going to remove you.
Okay.
I'm going to remove you as a panelist, and then I'm going to ask you to join. Sorry, buddy. 1 second. Sorry about this, everyone. It's not us.
Okay, I'm on.
Hey, Luke, are you there?
Yeah. I can hear you guys.
You're talking, but we just can't hear him. So hopefully it's going to, I don't know how to do this then.
I know, without doing the whole thing. Okay.
I can't redo it.
I know. Luke, can you type it in?
No.
I know. All right. Sorry, Luke.
I don't know what to do. From a tech standpoint.
You can do some stuff in there. Yeah, shucks, you guys. That's really weird on our end. We can't hear Luke.
You want to log in on a different computer? I mean, if we can't hear it, it's not getting recorded either.
That's true. Hang on 1 second here, because Luke has a lot of good stuff to say. Bear with me.
So, Luke, go ahead. For the benefit of everybody, go ahead.
Okay, so I think the question was, doing terms deals with a partnership or with a money partner. And I think from my understanding, a lot of the guys that are doing money partner deals are not using a proper partnership. They're using the guy or the person that's putting up the money's name and, selling the property on terms or selling the property for cash. And I think that creates a tax nightmare, an accounting nightmare. The whole point of having a partnership, like an LLC kind of partnership, there's a lot of ways to use structures, but some kind of entity to set that up is to dictate, who's paying the taxes, who's the tax matters partner, like who's going to be putting the taxes together, either hiring somebody or being responsible to do it themselves, or just make sure that the whole tax reporting side of it happens. And then when that is set up, it becomes a lot easier to do terms deals because the terms deals are going to go for a long time, right? I was just doing paperwork for a 5-year terms deal. I mean, I've done ones longer than that, but I was looking at it and it's going until June of 2022. It's like, okay, that's a ways from now. How old am I going to be? What am I going to be doing then? What's the plan of life 5 years from now? I don't know. In a partnership working with somebody else, are they still going to be alive? Are they still going to be happy to do this and keep up with the taxes and answer the phone and call me back? Am I going to get my piece? Are they going to get their piece? What happens 5 years from now when I got to go record the deed? Who's paying for it? Who's doing the paperwork? Who's doing everything? And what if someone passes on along the way or gets divorced or all kinds of things in life happen? And if you don't have that guide out there to dictate what's going to go on, like a terms of service, an operating agreement for an LLC, then it just leaves it open. You're just totally speculating. So it's a good idea to have that contract, that piece of paper, and talk about it, not just have it, but talk about, what happens if you get divorced. Should I keep going with you as one partner and the wife as one partner, or does it go to you? Or, if you guys pass on, should I keep doing this for the benefit of your kids or whoever the heirs are? Or should I try to liquidate the whole thing and send it to them? Or what's the plan? What happens if I pass on? All those things should be covered, and not just these kinds of businesses, but all kinds of businesses. And that's why we have business structures in the U.S. and, pretty much all kinds of English law systems around the world have that. And when you look at what gets built in those kinds of systems, a lot more happens when the rule of law is there and stuff gets contracted out and happens. So it's not just this business, it's from everywhere. And we should learn from that and implement it and use it. And I think a lot of people stay away from that because of the cost of setting up those structures, because of the complexity, because they've never done it before. Not because it's hard. It's just like, look at the first deed you ever did. I mean, that was scary, right? But after you do half dozen of them, it's no big deal anymore. It's the same thing with setting up an LLC or setting up a partnership or setting up an entity or multiple entities, depending on the structure of what you're doing. And I think that's where a lot of people are getting lost.
Pipe in and let us know. Let us know if you can hear us. We found a workaround with the cell phone.
Okay. I hear you guys.
Okay, good.
So I'm not sure if that covers the basis of the question.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to answer that. Thank you, Luke. That's one of the reasons that we do a deal-by-deal basis. We have partnerships with outside partners too after we all pass the asshole test together. So Luke's 100% right, but I'd rather date before I marry. So it'd be good to do a few deals where everybody knows that they all get along and understand each other, and then putting an LLC together where everyone's according to an operating agreement and things like that, which what Luke's referring to is
not a 5 or 10 year terms deal right out of the gate. I mean, that's a different version of getting married to the person you're working with.
Right.
You might sell the land in your name, or you're the one representing the land, but the name's in the other person's holdings, and you got to trust that they're going to go get that thing recorded 5 years from now, right? They might lose track. They might be off doing who knows what 5 years from now.
Right. Moving on to the next question. Go ahead, Joe.
Here's what we're gonna do. Let's see here. Sorry.
You're gonna have to speak really loud because I had to turn it down to reduce the feedback. So if we sound.
Oh, Savannah asked, "I ever tried setting up a tenant on a property and then advertising it through Airbnb?"
Is Kathleen on here? He puts Airstreams on there. Yeah, I think she's the one, didn't she? Yeah. When I first time I talked to Kathleen, she said this is just an idea. So I don't know I guess it came to fruition or it's. Hold on 1 second. We're going to address this audio thing. Yeah, so Kathleen, as I understand it, she is in some version of either actually having an operated Airstream kind of like a little area in New York for some on a lot that she purchased. I think probably even before. Okay, underway. Renovations underway. That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's we're doing a show next week called Land. 3 or 4. Jill and I went to a live event and ran into a girl. This is what she does. She's really young. She buys land, not in our group, in Los Angeles County, and she turns it into a parking lot. Mm-hmm. Gets the zoning changed, turns it into a parking lot, and leases it out. And she's just doing incredibly well. So there's a million ways that you can. Key is to buy the property really inexpensive, immediately create some equity, and then get creative.
Yeah, exactly.
We've all seen. Have you ever driven down the street and you see like a house that's turned into like a cigar shop or something like that? It's because the zoning changed. And those are perfect candidates to level or change.
There you go. Kathleen just added a comment here too that you just have to be very careful about zoning and investigate whether or not you can camp on your own land.
Right.
That's good. I love it. All right, so let's see. Oh, Tim even asked, is there any percentage in marketing our land to local mobile home sellers, Clayton, for example, so they have a cheap land parcel to tack on their mobile home buyer's package and help get financed?
I love it.
I think it's great.
On the screen here, it says, what are the traits of our most successful members? And the single number one trait that I see of our top producers in this group, or at least the ones that I know about that get back to me, is that they're creative. So all the things that you're bringing up, this is exactly what this form is for, by the way. All these creative uses for this property all centers around first buying it incredibly inexpensively for cash. So you can make these choices, and then getting creative with it.
Love it. Okay. David said, back to Luke. How do you structure the ownership regardless if you have an LLC set up or not? 50-50 on the deed.
Want me to take this one?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry. You put the LLC as the name on the deed. I mean, you don't put the parties in the LLC. You put the LLC as the owner of the property, and then in your operating agreement of the LLC, it dictates who the ownership of the LLC is, who the manager of the LLC is. The manager could charge something above and beyond the ownership, so it doesn't have to be tied to the percentage of ownership. There's all kinds of things you can do in an operating agreement of an LLC. You can do the same thing in a trust. I mean, it could be a trust. You're doing it with your family and stuff. You put the trust on there, and then somewhere inside the trust it says who actually owns it or who gets it later. And that percentage idea is just you don't have to worry about it because you're not putting that on the deed. You're putting the entity's name on the deed.
So David's asking Luke, he gets the structure. He's wondering what you typically do from a percentage split standpoint personally.
Oh, I thought he said on the deed, but like a percentage split personally. I've been sticking to the 50-50 kind of thing, and I'll do it. So sorry, I got to turn that off. So they usually pay, like all the I usually have the partnership pay the fixed cost, like buying the land, paying the tax for the land and notary, like the fixed costs, and then the fluffy costs, like I forget the term for it, but the non-fixed costs, like advertising, mailing out to get the property, setting up the business, all that kind of stuff. I usually pay that stuff out of my pocket. And so it's a lot stricter, straighter to the partnership of what the partnership's paying for. They're paying for this specific expense that goes to this specific property. And then you can see the profits come through on that. And out of my part of those profits, I take the money out somewhere along the way down the road someday and use that to pay for more of those. I don't know why I can't think of the word, but the non-fixed expenses in the business, the variable expenses that don't tie specifically to the property. And so I feel like I could charge like a higher percentage doing that. Whereas a lot of partnerships charge all kinds of things. Like they'll charge 2% or 5% a year or something for management fees just to run the office or run the accounting, there's a lot of fees that partnerships put in. I have a brokerage background, so I used to sell people on different kind of partnerships and structures and stuff. And the fees never stop, right? So I made mine really, really simple and just the way I would love to see it if I was the one investing into it. And I think that's the best way of doing it. And you should customize your own for yourself.
We do things exactly the same way. In every partnership we've ever done, we pay for 100% of locating the property. So when we do a deal, the mailing cost is ours. The review cost, there's no, whatever the money guy puts in, 100% of the money goes to the purchase of real estate. It doesn't go for overhead or anything else.
Exactly. I think that's the way it should be.
Mm-hmm. Are you doing Jack on screen Troy's question?
Yes.
Good.
Can you read it?
Yeah, Troy said, please explain, like show on this video, how you structure an equity partner deal, cash, on the contract that allows for the money partner to own the property with you getting paid out of escrow. And there's one that's available. That's right here.
Is there an example? Is there a contract available that we do?
Not in the course.
I'd be really concerned about. I'm happy to give away everything. I'm just concerned about somebody using my. Here's what happened. We all went through the program, right? So there are multiple people who have contacted me saying that they actually sent that Mojave County used it and sent it out as a mailer. Right?
Oh, okay.
In chapter 5,
they use exact.
I provide the data.
Oh.
I show everybody how to do a mail merge and a mailer and the concept, and then I attach all the documents. So support. Well, several people have said, why would I go out and do a mailer myself when you already did it for me? I'm just going to send it out. And then they call and say, well, why didn't I get it? Well, the data is like 15 years old.
Right.
So I'm a little bit leery at times of giving it. It exposes me from a liable standpoint.
All right, so for answer, you're going to ask her.
Just a minute.
Troy saying, okay, good. Oh, I'm waiting for you. I'm sorry. You're going to explain it as you're doing it. Okay, so that's.
I will in a second.
Okay, I'm going to go on to another question. Okay, so Kathleen. I love Kathleen's note that people are knocking on her door from these Facebook groups, though, too, by the way. It's brilliant. Coming to you. Josh says, hey, hi, Josh. There are many ways to skin this cat. I title the properties in my investor's name. They enter into an investing agreement and give a limited power of attorney to one of my companies, POA. The investing agreement covers property info, price, profit split, cancellation fee, etc. And the limited power of attorney enables me to buy, market, and sell the land. This has been working really well for us so far. Awesome. That is perfect. Okay, good. Are you done with ready for your
Yeah, so if you look at the screen, I'll make it bigger. Yeah, unfortunately, we cannot turn our volume up because there's a tremendous amount of feedback with Luke. So we're really doing the best I can. It's actually not it's really Zoom's problem, not ours.
We're going to do our best to speak up here. All right. And Jack will walk us through this example. He's almost done. So thank you. Keep more questions coming because we've got time.
So the property down here costs $40,000. Here's the cost. Who pays for it? The money guy pays 100% of the cost. JJ is Jack and Chuck. We don't put any money in, but we sell it. We utilize all the assets and stuff, land pin and all the infrastructure. This is a money guy's dream, by the way. I hear a lot of people in our group saying, oh, man, I'm really concerned about these money guys. Why would they want to do it? Money people love people like us that have a vested interest and a lot of experience, and they love to take what I would say is very, very risk-adverse approach to investment.
And when Jack says us, he means you.
Yeah, I don't mean
not just us. This group right here, because we and I can't stress that enough. How many times that I am told people come along and like, I know these are your people. Like other investors that I sell stuff to, they're like, when I come across your guys, is you, because you guys all know your stuff. I'm like, thank you very much. I will take that compliment. So, all right, Jack, showing the distribution here.
So here's how it works. So the property is purchased for $40,000 by the money guy. We sell it for $80,000. Well, it cost $40,000. The money guy paid that, and we netted $40,000. He gets his money back. So distribution goes at closing, minus fees, of course. $60,000 back. His original $40,000 plus $20,000, and then our $20,000. I love to do this at the end of every single one of these. Let's say we do 10 of these a year. No, let's just say 12 because we do one a month because we're smart. And we didn't put any money in. That's how much money we make. How much? When I say we, Jill's right. I mean you. Mm-hmm. That's the theme for today.
It's 240,000.
Starting to think a little bit bigger. Do some bigger deals, You want
to do that, Jack? You want to jump into stuff that you had prepared for us today, please? I'll do the first one.
Yeah, number one, we've been covering it a little bit. The most successful people in our group, Luke included, gets creative. He doesn't look at it, yeah, he buys $100 a lot property, for sure. And Jill and I still do. But the real money in this is kind of what I had on the screen. It's putting together a deal that makes sense to you. I have our consulting calls. I do them all Thursday long, so I've been talking all day. And one of the guys that I did a call with, he joined our group in February. He did 30 deals. He and his wife are full-time now. They both got their jobs. And they had that machine in place. And he said, but he called. He scheduled a call with me to talk about flipping houses because it just makes more sense to him. I don't mean flip them, renovate them. I mean, buy a house for $120,000, sell it to the guy who's going to rehab it for 130. That over and over and over again, and that guy makes more money. So this is that deal. The reason I bring it up is because this is what the spreadsheet deal is. I'm just going to change the numbers. The money guy puts in 120. Well, it would take too long to convert the spreadsheet, but you understand my point. If you do 10 house deals, which I would argue are even easy, believe it or not, the way that we structure these house deals, and when you have a buyer in your back pocket, doing a house deal, wholesale, is even easier than I think doing a land deal, if that's possible. Where everybody gets hung up in flipping houses is because of freaking HGTV and the pack of lies that goes on these house flipping shows, right, Jill?
Well, some are. What do you mean? Well, define what you mean there, Jack.
The pack of lies on HGTV
about how easy it is and how pretty it is and how sexy it is.
Every single time I gag my way through any HGTV house flipping show, they don't show the numbers.
This is true.
So yeah, it's pretty at the end, but
that's what you mean.
How much does it really cost?
Yeah.
How much money did you really lose on this deal?
I love David's comment. David, I repeat one of David's a long time ago when he said, I've never lost $20,000 on a land deal. So, and I repeat that all the time.
So that's how we, Troy, I hope that works for you.
Mm-hmm. So I was going to add too, so back to our topics, the things that we had to talk about today. One of the things too that the most successful people do that for me is solving our own problems. I mean, getting creative and not getting hung up on things and not, I know we talk about it, but it comes up sometimes. It's interesting. Some questions that if we really sit back and think about it, we can solve ourselves and answer them ourselves. You don't need to bring in other people and fix things. So,
right.
Okay. Let's see. I think we're caught up here. Troy's asking too. I follow the numbers, but I'm curious about what language you use on contract to set up that sounds like a split.
Yeah.
Are you using an option agreement?
No.
Or a different joint?
No, it's a joint venture agreement. Unfortunately, I couldn't hear all of what Luke talked about in the beginning, but I'm sure that he covered some version of. I mean, these are the easiest agreements as contracts go. I mean, I've seen joint venture contracts and stuff that are the size of a phone book. Ours is one page. It says, "Look, money guy, please buy this property for $5,000. We're going to sell it for no less than 10, and you're going to own it the whole time. And when we're done, we're going to split the proceeds minus any net proceeds, of the real estate and the closing costs." Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't get too hung up in the language. In fact, I think a 30-minute Google search, you're going to come up with some pretty cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Rodney. Rodney's comment on the side is, thank you, well said. People need to turn off HGTV because they get some unrealistic expectations. It's so true. So yeah. Jason asks, plans for future parcel fact functionality to look up properties with multiple APNs to provide a single polygon.
Oh, Jason, that's fantastic. I mean, thank you for the suggestion. The intensity from a tech standpoint to pull that off is truly fantastic. In fact, what I do, because we run into the situation, I think if I read your message right, what you're really saying is that I'm going to buy 6 properties, but they're all adjacent to each other, and I'd love to have a polygon written. Yeah, contiguous properties. I'd love to have so what ends up happening is I pull up all the separate properties, and then I go down into Google Earth and then start drawing polygons. I'll do a video on this, on how to do it. I overlay those polygons because you have each corner point, or overlay the polygons into Google Earth as an image, and it comes out perfectly. Mm-hmm. I do an overlay image, plat mat image, I think in Lassen County, California, either on YouTube or in the program. And it's very similar to that. It comes out perfect, actually. Do we have plans to do that? No. It would cost $100,000, probably just be for you.
Do you want to cover your micro mailers?
Yeah, so let's talk about Redfin. Luke, I would love to hear your opinion on some of this stuff, if you've used it or if it works or not.
Go for it. You know how hard it is to get deeds for Los Angeles County?
Really?
Yeah.
Even on Title Pro?
Well, maybe I've been pulling up the wrong properties, but
because I've tested a few like right around here where I am, and I didn't have any trouble pulling them up, and I can go back and get mortgage data and all kinds of interesting stuff.
I'm probably going after the cheap, ridiculous ones.
Got it.
But you gotta like mail them. They won't do it over the phone or email or fax or anything. You gotta mail them a check and hope you know how many pages it's for.
Oh, I can swing by and pick them up for you, Luke.
There you go. Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, what I said, I set Redfin to $50,000 max price. I would set it lower, but it won't allow me to. And I removed everything except land. And what we're hunting for in these little infill lot micro mailer scenarios is really inexpensively priced land on the MLS, because that's what Redfin is. It's quite simply an IDX feed through participating MLSs. So here you can see, just outside of Los Angeles, there's little subdivisions where there's land that's priced for $15,000, or 40, or 25, or 27. So by Southern California's prices, that's cuckoo cheap. And I said it on the show, and I'll say it again. Where there's $6,000 properties, there's $500 properties when you send out mail campaigns. So this is really kind of like 6 or 7 birds with one stone. You have a version of comps out of the gate, which are telling you how much you're going to sell it for. And you also have now identified in what you could arguably say is better than an IDX feed, where to send a micro mailer. So I think that if you went in a neighborhood like this, where there's $15,000 and $16,000 properties, and sent out a mailer for $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, I think you'd get some takers. I know you would. I've done it.
Will you just repeat real quick for anybody who didn't miss that? Because I see your note here, David. The filters that you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how do you define that neighborhood? I think is what a lot of people are getting at. You define.
How did I find it?
Define it when you search for data. Are you putting the neighborhood name into
land?
Land.
Or logic, or the APN scheme, or the zip code, or the street?
Oh, no, it's not even as sophisticated as that. Watch, I'm going to pan out as far as I can. And the darker areas are because there's the MLS in that area, multiple listing services, not participating with Redfin. And Redfin's not the only tool you can use. There's all kinds of mapping, different speeds. How did I find it? I just guessed. Like up here in the Pacific Northwest is a real good place to do this.
No, I'm asking because when you go pull the data to actually mail them, there's like different kinds of data you could use in the mailer. Like, do you limit that area by the zip code? Because I've done that in different areas. Like, oh, this area looks like it's all in the same zip code or the same dozen zip codes. And just hit that area of the county. Or I've done other ones where you hit the neighborhood and the actual neighborhood name comes up in CoreLogic and you can search by that neighborhood and just mail offers to lots in that neighborhood. I've done it to just that neighborhood with just a certain size properties and vacant and just the bottom assessed value ones, and you get a lot more response out of it. Like those limiters in the when you go to pull data, I think is what people are looking for. And
screen here, it has if the agent correctly filled it out, you can also get an APN.
There you go.
I've done it in the past. Because what you'll find out if you start digging around, and this doesn't happen in 20 minutes, by the way. To find a good area and then get it in the mail, it takes a while. Probably take a weekend. But it's really, really, really worth it. It's really specific, and your yield per mailer sent is usually really strong. So yeah, there's about, like Luke said, you can do it by situs zip code, which is the site of the property, not the mail where they own it, the owner's address. You can use it with situs zip code, subdivision name. It depends on the quality of data. My first choice is always the assessor's parcel number. In this case, they just didn't fill it out. But if you know that it's in Gig, like in this case, if you know that it's in Ocean Shores in Gig Harbor, Washington, that's the name of the county, then the assessor can really start to help you when you're calling them with intelligent questions, and you can say, hey, what's the APN scheme for Ocean Shores? They're going to seriously help you with that kind of intelligent question. You call them and say, where do you think I should send a mailer? That's not going to end well.
I love it.
Might be a fun conversation.
Yeah. I mean, it works all across the country. Michigan's done it in Michigan. You can buy farmland this way. Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm waiting for it to rasterize. So I wish they had more MLS coverage, but for what they have, it works really well. Stuff that goes on the coast of Texas and Florida down there is nothing short of amazing. I don't want to take up the whole hour doing this, but this kind of stuff fascinates me. And then for houses, geez, we can do that next week if you want. We remove the $50,000 cap for land. I mean, it's almost too much data for the thing to handle. Like, watch. And I kicked it up to 350,000. And now it's mapping them. You can see up in the left-hand corner how much longer it takes, which ties into the theme for today, doing bigger deals. Bigger deals are way easier to do. You make a lot more money. There's always an escrow company involved. And if you have a buyer first, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the only thing is too, some of them, they might not happen as fast, but because I know a couple of people in our group that they're happy doing like 3 of these big deals a year.
Yeah.
3 or 4, absolutely. And they're like, this is perfect. That's
it's a lot easier to raise money. I'm a money guy on a large deal that is has a physical address and is in an urban area, and it is rural. Mm-hmm.
Aluminamitis? Is that a thing? There's a little side conversation going on here about Kathleen's where to find some of these great trailers. And I'm like, this is awesome. So that's really cute. So it sounds like Jason's getting hooked here, and I think it's awesome. So I like that saying. There we go. Oh, he's got it. That's really cool. The Airstream group here. Great. Was there a third thing we need to cover?
You know what this reminds me of? Jill and I took what I called a 5-star blue-collar vacation a couple years ago, which is hard to. I don't understand the Airstream thing. I think they're cool as heck to look at and nostalgic, and I love old stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But just to actually use it, I don't know. I'd rather just get a big, huge Class A.
We're kind of about the slide outs if we're going to do it, and surround sound and a fireplace and a heater. So that's kind of where we come from. Good.
The green on the map is there's just too many properties to map.
Yeah. Whether there is MLS or not MLS. Whether there is MLS or not MLS, or is the light gray on the map.
Here's a perfect example. Here's some properties in Atlanta.
Glamping.
Just outside of Atlanta that are listed for $3,000 and $5,000 and $8,000. You know, it could be a little micro ghetto. In Michigan, we call them satellite ghettos. Like Flint, Michigan is actually a satellite ghetto to Detroit, the real Detroit ghetto. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I could do this all day.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Okay, so what was your third thing, Jack, that you wanted to share for today?
For once and for all, the land value column, when you're pricing a mailer, has little or nothing to do with how you price it. It comes up every Thursday, multiple times on my deal review calls. And somewhere, and I'm not exactly sure where, I clearly sent the wrong message. I didn't clarify my point. Land value has nothing to do with actually pricing a mailer. Right. You price mailers based on property that's existing or listed or completed sales. But my favorite is still the most reliable data that you can use is the one that's on your screen right now. Mm-hmm. Existing property for sale. And days on market, I didn't address that. So the days on market over here, 83 days, 24 days, 906 days, that really concerns me. I don't think the property's been on the market for 900 days. I think that it was a real estate agent ploy. 400 days. 900. Isn't it strange that they're all 906? That one's not 918 or 413? Because it's fiction. So you got to smoke some of this stuff out. But I'll tell you, it's a really powerful tool, and it costs nothing.
Good, Kathleen. I like this. She said, I actually got a seller to sell to me once because I explained that the parcel's assessed value has nothing to do with my offer.
Jill's got a whole canned speech for this. I've heard her talk about it with sellers.
Exactly. It's really like, do we want to run out and tell the assessor what your property's really worth? I don't want to do that. Do you want to do that? Because then the taxes are going to go up. Let's think about this. And when you explain that, they go, oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, it's we all want it to be artificially low.
Jill and I met with Court Logic 2 weeks ago, and I'm not sure what I talked about last week or not. But here's the thing. RealQuest Pro itself is just, no one can argue that it's packed with awesome data, including completed sales data in a lot of places. They're working on licensing us to provide an API version of RealQuest where we would write the front end and have the sorted outcomes on the back end, so you could really, truly just ask it anything you want. You could ask it to generate a report for you for all the completed sales of 40-acre properties in APN Scheme X and really be able to price a mailer perfectly. So that's what's coming in early 2018. It's a preset, beautiful way to manipulate data, license data through RealQuest, and why they haven't done it, I don't understand. And the guy that we deal with there agrees with us, but it's truly going to be amazing when it's done.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a 2018 thing.
Yeah.
Realistically. So, cool. All right. We have 5 more minutes. Did you have anything else that you wanted to cover, Jack?
I don't. I think that about covers it.
All right. This is awesome.
We've got time for a few more questions if you'd like.
Yeah.
Should I get Mike Allen?
Oh, wait. I was going to say, well, yes, on the mic. Yeah. And then I also want to know, Luke, about the guy with the turban. Did you get the money?
Still going back and forth on it.
Did he leave town?
No, he's dead set on the property. It's just, stupid little stuff. This stuff. I think it's still going to happen. I mean, I've been talking to him like all day long about details, getting all the paperwork stuff, and yeah. Just little things.
It sounds like the house version of, but I want to keep the drapes. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Answer your question, Luke.
He doesn't understand a lot of stuff. He's totally new, never owned land, he's just things like get mailing address. Like, how do I get a mailing address for the property? And
oh, geez.
Yeah.
This is a good example, members, why you should never meet your buyer.
Yeah, total newbie buyer, which is fine. I mean, I'm sure he pays. It sounds like he's like dead set on the land. He's fallen in love with it. He's ready to go. So I haven't taken it off the website though.
Good.
So.
All right. If we have no more questions, we're going to even out the fact that we constantly go over.
Well,
it's early here. Thanks, everyone.
I was going to do Michael Allen's question.
Luke was going to add a little something. Go ahead.
Luke, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. He was asking last week and we cut him off. Just talk about my business. I'm not exactly sure where to start or how much info to get into. From a brokerage background, so compliance is always telling me, don't promote in front of crowds. You got to be really careful what I say. No advertising if you're ever trying to raise money because of the regulations. So I'm always trying to be careful of what I say. But just typical land business. Just like what Jack and Jill have always talked about doing. I just followed their program and started buying land, so sending out mailers, buying land and selling them, buying more and selling them, buying more and selling them. And now I'm looking at doing mailers that is, going for a lot bigger dollar size, putting a lot more money to work as funds have compounded, grown over time, and that are more specifically shooting after splits. I've been studying splitting land a lot more, and I've been testing it in lots of areas, and it's been working pretty well. And it doesn't seem to be that hard in specific areas to split up properties. And so I think doing that going forward is more of the future of my business. And so, buy 3 properties, sell 15 properties, or, stuff like that. And just keep doing that in a bigger and bigger way, and selling them off in numbers that people can check out online with a credit card. It would make more sense to make $50,000 per trade and do it through title and escrow and stuff. But I've kind of set up a little niche of just land that you can check out online. I got people that keep coming back to the website to buy more or to look for the specific property they want. They've been searching the last year or whatever before they find the one that they go for. And so I think I could just keep feeding them more land like that and making it and in a bigger and bigger volume kind of way, and just keep serving it up right, cheap, easy land. So I'm doing more of that. I think those splits are just a really neat angle. I think some of those counties I figured out, I don't think it's just a one-time thing. I think I'll circle back and do it again and again and again as I learn more. I'm learning more about the counties, like what parts of the counties I should pay more, what parts of the counties sell faster, what parts don't sell. And, starting to sell properties like a mile from a property I sold before. I already know the streets and the sales pitch and the whole gamut. And so it's getting a lot easier to keep working those areas and not just continuously add on new areas all the time. So I just keep getting better and better at some of those areas while studying and learning more areas to add on to the business. So I have multiple pistons going at the same time instead of just one or two. And I think that's a big piece of what I've put together. Exactly. And another good piece I think about my business compared to a lot of the guys out there is just a back office help kind of things that I've set up. And so properties like Arkansas, for example, people were asking about Arkansas properties on Land Academy. Like, how does it make any sense with the small prices you're asking for? And I try not to laugh because, like, I didn't pay much of anything for those properties, and I can sell them for like next to nothing. Good luck beating me to the bottom on those prices. They're selling and I think automating it with back office help like Jill Live, and you guys are putting together lots of back office help for people. I think it's going to come in over time, but I mean, my back office help that I put together, they're cranking out listings and ads and calls and text messages, deeds, paperwork, contracts, all kinds of stuff, like on a daily basis. Like I had a day this week, I sold over 20 properties one day. And then the next day I sold over 15 properties. And I'm not giving a specific number because like people had check in the mail and cashiers check in the mail and stuff like that.
Right.
So I don't know if they actually pay or not, but you know, get multiple days like that in a row. They're not big dollar properties, but without that back office help, I can't do that much paperwork and to take that many phone calls and pull that many deals off. So I think the back office has helped a lot to scale up on the smaller dollar properties that I keep dealing, and hope to have more of those going forward. So I don't know if that answers Mike's question, but that's a lot of what I've been doing and where my business is at. And I think that's gives you an idea for the future, is doing a lot more of these splits, buying bigger tracts and splitting in more ways. And just working my way through the regulations. I think as I get to understand the regulations in certain areas more than most anybody else, even the people that wrote the regulations in some cases, I can dictate the market. I can pay the most and I can have the highest margin when I sell the stuff, and I can just keep hitting it out of the park on those fronts. So I want to focus more on that.
I have some questions here, Luke, that people had put in. Like, a couple of people are asking what you're using right now because they've had Moonclerk and Stripe not working, and one had Stripe just cut them off. So, who are you using right now?
Still using Moonclerk and Stripe. Stripe, everyone says Stripe is, the sky's falling or whatever. I haven't had any problems with Stripe. I can't remember the guy's name, but like the main guy at Moonclerk called me a couple months back, and he said, this is great. How can we get more land dealers using Moonclerk? And I told him about our group and our business, and I told a bunch of people about Moonclerk, and I refer you highly because you work really well and you're just easy. And he was asking about size of business and if there's conventions or if he could do a presentation or get in front of the crowd or whatever. And I tried to guide him some, and he wanted to go probably do some advertising on like Land Watch or Land and Farm, or I told him to contact you guys too. I don't know if he ever did. But he wanted me to fill out some paperwork to do a case study on my business and put that on Moonclerk's website. So when they have like the yoga studio and whoever that's using Moonclerk, they have Luke Smith over here that uses it for dealing land too, as like an alternative. And I thought that was a great idea. Maybe I'll get some leads and everything. And then people started talking about Stripe not working. I said, maybe I shouldn't point it out to them.
Yeah.
So I never went through with the case study. So I just leave them in the dark. I mean, they just keep billing me and they keep running transactions. I haven't seen any problems with it.
Do you have an ETA, Jack, on ours?
On Jill Pay?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it
August?
August or September.
Okay. All right.
And that's full-blown sign, we love real estate.
Mm-hmm. But hang in there. I see a lot of comments, people solving problems and having to jump around.
In the meantime, you need to do exactly what Luke's doing.
Right. That's good.
Hey, Luke, someone says here, where did you learn how to split land?
Well, I bought this book. I told you guys about that book, right? The Writing Legal Descriptions by Waddles. And it's like from the 70s or something. I mean, it's old. It's before a lot of the states started coming up with the MAP Act laws and stuff like that. In the 70s, a lot of laws seemed to show up. And so there's a couple pages in there Yeah, that's the book, the yellow one right there. It's like $100-something. It's expensive, but for the kind of book, but I think it's totally worth it. Teaches you how to write legal descriptions and all kinds of stuff about land splitting, right? So from there, it's like, okay, what counties can I do this in? And so I started calling counties. I had the girls in the Philippines call all the counties and ask my questions, and get a spreadsheet of, answers. Mm-hmm. And some of them are like, didn't make a whole lot of sense, and others made pretty clear sense, but you kind of filter it down from there. I have them go call all the counties that kind of still fit the bill, with better questions, like more detailed questions, and they collect more information. And I have them call the assessor, have them call the recorder, have them call planning and zoning, county commissioner, pretty much anybody that answers the phone, right? And just ask them about some land. And it's the same idea as doing a mailer in a county. Like, just look up Bob Jones or Robert Jones or Michael Smith or some common name, Jose Rodriguez or something. And
yeah.
You know what I mean? You get that guy and find his land and call him, hey, I got this property, here's my APN, can I split this thing up? Can I sell off a piece? I want to sell half of it to my friend. How do I do that? And they start telling you, oh, you can't do it on this property because of blah, 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 blah. But if the property was like this, then you could. Oh, yep. Where do I find those properties? They got this kind of zoning or that kind of, they're not in the city, they're out in the country, or they're in the city and not in the country, because you got state laws you got to navigate through, and then you got county laws you got to navigate through. And if the land is in some kind of municipality of some kind, you got their laws to navigate through. And they may have laws and they may not. Like some of these places, you're looking for the law that the other counties have. And this county, they never spent the money to write the law, or they never cared enough about making the law or coming up with the same law that the other counties have. And that's my county. They didn't bother making the law. Like winner, chicken dinner, right? Mm-hmm. Go figure out that market. And it's not just the county, it could be the city or the municipality. Like you could find a city or municipality that's not part of the county laws, that has totally different regulations, whether they made them up or not. And if they made them up, you read through them and find the loopholes. And if they haven't made them up, well, just run with it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then once you find a county that you can do it, then you just milk it. I mean, you do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
We're not talking about full-blown subdivisions here. We're talking about, in Arizona, it's relatively easy to take a property and split it down 5 ways. All you have to do is rewrite the descriptions, which is incredibly simple, and that's what obviously this book's about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different problems, Luke. You're approaching this. That's why you're so successful. You just won't take no for an answer from anybody.
Yeah, and the counties tell you no, you can't do that, and then you read the regulations, and the regulations say you can do it if this and if that. You call the county back and ask them again, and they still say no. I mean, just
what they're saying no to is you're interrupting the cake eating thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying no, you're interrupting my chocolate cake experience.
Yep. And they say nobody does that. Nobody ever does that. Nobody's ever asked that before. And I'm like, really? But you just do it. I mean, there's no police on it really, and you're done. You make it their problem. It's like you got 2 new properties there. One has an APN, one doesn't. Well, who are you going to send the tax bill to? Make a new APN. Mm-hmm. That's it. You're not dealing APNs. You're dealing legal descriptions. You're selling legal description.
That's right. That's exactly. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, part of their county requirements or state requirements or whatever might require that you have legal access, that you have physical access, that you have water, that you have all this stuff, right? You can still split the property even though that stuff's not there. I mean, you might not be following the law. I mean, I'm not doing that. I'm trying to follow the law and follow it so it's sellable, and I can sell it for the most money possible, and they can get a building permit and everything. I mean, some of these counties have lists of properties in the county that is an illegal subdivision. It's like awful that somebody ever made these properties. And there's still land. I mean, you could still trade them, buy them and sell them and stuff, but getting a building permit on it, they don't meet the zoning. They don't meet the requirement. They don't meet the whatever. You could probably buy up a bunch of those illegal ones for nothing if the people that own them know that. You tell them, hey, you own a legal subdivision. You can't get a building permit. If I got you and the neighbor property and merge them together, then I could get a building permit. There's just because they say it's illegal and bad. I mean, there's still opportunities for those properties. It's just approaching it right. But splitting it, just understanding the rules. Okay, it's got to be so many acres in that area to get a building permit. So let's not make any properties below that. And it's got to have access. So, okay, this little corner of the property over here has got a road. Let's draw easements from there out to the rest of the property and make sure that everybody can use the easements. Or there's easements on the neighboring 5 properties that go out to the road. Nobody's built the road yet. The easements are all there. You map them out for the people that you're selling the land to, show them where the easements are so they can show the county later on when it comes to getting a building permit. I mean, there's a lot of levels to it. And that's more detailed than just buying a piece of property and selling it. But figuring that out, you can add a lot of value to the property.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm going to take David's comments here, and then we're going to wrap the call up. In a fan celebration kind of way, somebody defaulted on David's property, and I don't know if you can see this, listeners, but he paid $500, took it back, and then resold it for $0 down, $300 dock fee in 4 hours. So taking property back almost never is bad. We have the exact same experience. In fact, most times we sell it for more than we originally sold it for anyway. Or like same thing with the return. If somebody calls back, 8 months later and says, look, I don't want this property, we always buy it back from them and just resell it. Mm-hmm. David says, second to last question. When you start Jill Pay, how are you going to get around the bank regs regarding servicing loans? So Jill Pay will be a culminate. It will be, depending on what you need to use it for, it will utilize a different vendor. And I don't want to get into a lot of details now, but trust me, man, the reason this is taking so long is because we want it in writing, and we have it in writing. We're just building the site right now, that real estate is okay and that it's encouraged by the back-end bank processor. And how much will it cost? How much will Jill Pay cost? It'll be very comparable to Stripe, plus or minus a few basis points. And basis points meaning, there's 100 basis points in it, 1%. So, but it'll be very equivalent, or if not lower than Stripe. Mm-hmm. There will be no subscription fee at all. It'll be just like PayPal. You log on, you use it to pay for stuff. Mm-hmm. You log off.
Awesome.
Thanks very much, everyone. Luke, thanks very much. We're probably going to make this a more often event versus not. So
yeah, it's fun. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you next week. Same time. Same.
That's good.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.